Bumblebee, roll out! Well, hello there, ladies and gents. I'm Photo Dave, and this is Toypixx, a channel dedicated to helping you and helping me get a whole lot better at our action figure photography. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and click subscribe while I describe what's going on in today's video. Folks, today we answer the question for the ThreeZero Transformers MDLX Optimus Prime: is it photogenic? That's right, this is a toy photography action figure review. Not one of those other crazy reviews that you can find all over the internet. We're gonna find out, is this thing gonna look good under the lights and in front of the lens? So let's get to it. First things first, let's look at the overall aesthetics of this guy. Now you can see we've got some pretty shiny paint here, obviously, with all the glare coming off the lights. He looks pretty detailed to me. We zoom in there. Check out that face sculpt. Yeah, I'm thinking that we're going to get a whole lot of cool shadow under the lights, considering that's kind of how I've got them lit now. All kinds of little just crazy ThreeZero detail. Always love what they do to their figures. This is only the second one I've got, but I always love it. You know, words. Even crazy detail on the smokestacks. What we've got on, let's see, I want to show off. It's kind of tough to see, but there's some weathering a little bit, some weathered paint. This is plastic overall, but you can see kind of some silver along the edges there. That's just a little extra paint that they've given old Prime. We've got a happening crotch shot there. And look at all the detail even there. Even on old Prime's butt going down to the legs. Whew, he's got all kinds of detail. This thing is camera candy. That's right, camera candy. Trademark pending. Hip flap. If we just look at the front here, we've got a little more of that painted weathering. Yeah, Prime looks good. You can't dismiss how good this thing looks. Check out the back there. All kinds of detail. This guy, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. And if you've been watching the socials, you know that I've been doing plenty with him already. But he needs a proper review. So let's keep going with how well the man moves for photos. So aesthetically, I'd say it's safe to say that Optimus is photogenic, but what about how well this guy moves? Now, I'm not one that's going to go over a big-time articulation segment here, but I will show you some stuff that I think's kind of interesting. So, check out the hip flaps here. Zoom in a little bit there. Those things will just totally get out of the way whenever, in fact, I'm just going to do it. We'll just move the leg. And see how, well, here I am saying they'll totally get out of the way. It's on a little ball there, little hinge. It moves. This thing is crazy here, how weird this goes. You can get his leg to go way out that way. Craziness. Which is just really cool. There is some looseness on this piece, this flap. So just be careful, and when you set them up, line it up as best you can. Nothing here snaps into place when we're talking about that area, which is kind of strange, but it also allows for a whole lot of leg freedom, so I don't really get bugged by it. He's also got something else that's insane, is just this crazy, let's see here, well, that'll happen from time to time, don't worry. Those things pop right back in. That's one of the nice things about these import figures. They all seem to make them so you can break them and fix them right away. But that's a serious crunch there going on with Op. So that's something I noticed that's really cool. Oh, where's that piece? Now I'm going to see if I can do some quick homework on camera so I can keep this going with it looking pretty. Oh, hey, we'll use the camera. There it is. All fixed. See that? Easy enough. Now, something else I noticed down here with the feet, they move back like that. He's got some toe articulation that's really cool. This piece kind of rotates, so it sort of lines up with where the foot goes. It doesn't bend down. It can bend up a little, but it doesn't really bend down. Actually, I'm not sure it even really bends up. So you can rotate it to kind of line it up better with the foot. You also have these flaps that'll get out of the way. Crazy amount of rocker there, which is really cool. I always dig that. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, one last thing real quick to show you. The way his shoulders work is insane. Look at that, all the movement you get out of that. Now, I don't know enough to tell you what all is going on in there as far as an engineering standpoint, but when you get them going like that, stand them up, zoom out, and look at how much his arm goes out there. It goes across his body. So you'll see later on in some pics that I shot for this that he can dual wield his axe pretty easily. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, those are the articulation points I noticed. Everything else, he just moves wonderfully smooth. Like the ones that were unusual that I noticed. Look at that. And I will say, be deliberate when you move all the joints here. You don't want to crash into things because you might scuff it up some. But as long as you're careful and deliberate, even if you go as high as I did there, you're not going to hurt anything. So don't worry about being too cautious. Just know what you're doing every step of the way. So yeah, as far as the articulation segment, does this guy move? Well, I'm going to have to give him a most excellent qualified Yahtzee. Whew. Try and do this a little bit like D Amazing. By the way, if you haven't followed D Amazing yet, go do that. That dude knows what's up when it comes to figures. And he poses things a whole lot better than I just did there with Optimus. Most of my posing happens in photos. So, now, let's get into the accessories. Prime is no slouch in the accessories department, so let's just get cracking. Here we have his backpack, jetpack. You can see the massive amounts of detail there. I'll plug it in right here in a second, and it'll probably never come off again. I think it completes his look a lot more when I just have it on. So you can see there's 2 tabs there. And on Prime, you have... Oh, back up. See, there's kind of 2 tabs at the top of the screen there, or 2 holes. So you take these tabs, we'll back it out, just line them up. You can feel it. There's no click or anything. You just push until it's in there. And it's in there. So, there you go. Probably my Prime for the rest of his life with just that going on. So now, let's back out a little more. And now we've got 2 jazz hands. One for the right, one for the left, action hands, whatever you want to call them. They work well. It's kind of weird that his fingers are bent down so much. Usually, like when I think of something like that, it's not down, it's more like this. So it's different trying to use these. But they do work when you're holding any rifles that he may or may not come with. And then, speaking of, we have 2 trigger hands. Good stuff. These are all kind of rubbery, by the way, so it's a lot easier to put them inside things than, or to put things inside them than it is just a regular plastic type hand. We have a matrix holding hand. Wonder if he comes with a matrix. He's got 2 of these. And now, he also has an axe-wielding hand, because energon axes are cool. I think I'm giving away the accessories here. But there's that. He's got 2 of those. He's got 2 of all these. And then, the odd pointer fingers. I usually think of 1 finger, but hey, that'll work. And like I said, these are a little rubbery. They also have a little bit of a silver dry brush on them to give them kind of that worn look. It's very, very cool. And now, just because I gave it away with the hands, here's your energon axe. And that thing is a thing of beauty. The detail on that guy. Whew! Zoom in a little bit. Yeah. It's insane what ThreeZero does with these things. They're absolutely gorgeous accessories. But anywho, we have one more to go, and I bet you can guess what it is. We have Prime's good old-fashioned ion blaster. This thing is huge, but it's awesome. It's totally G1 redone. A lot of people like their whole G1, just total accuracy. I don't need that. I don't need all 80s all the time. I actually prefer stuff like this, where it's kind of reimaginings, and the character, you still know who it is, but it's got some updated stuff going on. That's my preferred look. And this rifle, no doubt that it's got the same thing going, but check out the size here. That's a big gun. Whoop. Almost forgot something in the accessories. We have the Matrix of Leadership. Very good stuff. It's pretty much the same up and down and turn it around, all the same stuff. To put it in Prime, let's set it down. Prime doesn't have the windows that open like you would normally see. This is magnetized, so you grab, let's see, it's kind of a trick to do anyway. You're not going to hurt the figure, but those are magnets that's holding it on. If you can see those things. That's what holds it in there. And now, you just put the Matrix in. It has a snug-ish fit, but it's not super tight or anything. And then you just take this and let the magnets do their thing. And there you go. Matrix time, probably never coming out of Prime. And that's the accessories. But is he photogenic? Does he photograph well under the lens? Or under the lights and in front of the lens? Good lord, you'd think I'd had that written down somewhere. Well, we're going to take a break. I'm going to put up some pictures here that I shot of him, and you can decide for yourself. So, here we go. Now let's get into some size comparisons. With all that out of the way, here we are with Duke. So this is your classic G.I. Joe classified main size figure type. I was trying to think of something horrible to say about Duke, but I pretty much covered it enough. I don't know why I didn't use Flint there. Then you have the Big Blue Boy Scout. Figure he and Prime pretty much are the same sort of archetype. But yeah, there he is with the Mafex Hush Superman. And then we'll throw down with a little bit of Skywalker. Another 80s icon, that is the SH Figuarts Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. And now, for what I'm sure everybody really has been waiting for, we have Bumblebee. And for a little bit of extra fun, let's throw in my Diaclone Gamma Versalter, just because he doesn't make it to enough videos. So there's your size comparisons, and before I'm totally done with this, I want to show you a couple other things here. Little extra credit. I found a yellow bug, you've probably seen it in pictures, that I use as my transformed Bumblebee. That's one thing I wish ThreeZero could do, is include, like, their alt modes. I don't mind that they don't transform, but I do wish they at least included alt modes. But I found that for Bumblebee. That's a 1/43 scale yellow Volkswagen, and I found this for Prime. That is the 1/32nd scale Jada Toys Optimus there, just as a semi. So now they don't have to transform. I've got their alternate mode, so I'm kind of excited about that. Anywho, those are your size comparisons. So to answer the question, is Optimus Prime photogenic? Yes. We're not going to beat around the bush on this one. This is a very photogenic action figure. He doesn't come with an extra head, but he doesn't need an extra head. He's Optimus Prime. He wears the mask unless he's, well, in movies. Sadly, in some of the later animated series. Oh, I'm feeling like weeping. But he has plenty of hands, so he's got all kinds of expression. He's got a couple weapons. He's got a matrix. He's got a crazy backpack. The guy moves insanely well, yes. The detail is beautiful. Everything is beautiful on this bot. I do want to say real quick, though, things that I didn't bring up in the initial review are that because his hands are a little rubbery, it's difficult for him to hold the stuff straight ahead. You kind of got to really fight with that a little bit. Also, putting them on the pins, like on the pegs, on the wrists for the first few times is kind of tough. Eventually you get used to it, but it almost feels like you're putting them in on the wrong angle. But don't worry, they're going on the correct angle. But yeah, I'm super stoked to have this guy coming. And we have Megatron coming, already have him on pre-order. Nemesis Prime and a repainted Bumblebee have already been up for pre-order. I'm really fighting not to pre-order those guys. And then we've got Rodimus or Hot Rod, I'm not sure which it is that's coming in the future. Plus Starscream's been announced, which means we're going to get Seekers. This line is going to get huge in a hurry, so if you want in on the ground floor, go for it. I think you can find Bumblebee still relatively cheaply. Prime's a little tougher to find now, but you should be able to do it. So I recommend going to do it, because these guys are just really cool, and in my photographic experience, they're a blast to shoot. So, comment below and let me know, what do you think of these guys? What do you think of ThreeZero's MDLX line? Are you really stoked about them, or are you kind of ambivalent? Maybe you just don't care. Maybe you need Transformers that only transform, and that's cool too. Don't ever let somebody tell you how you should collect. But that's all I've got for this one, folks. Thank you for watching, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and until next time, have fun and happy snapping. See ya.